welcome back to work. This is Net Net. We've got 3 big topics for you today. We're going to start with dating in the office. So if you're sick of dating apps, the word is that you should go to work and find love there. I have to say, so this morning I took the 6 train. I don't usually take the subway, but I took the 6 train. There were like all these like guys on there, like 20-something, early 30-something guys. They were so jacked. It was like bizarre. Everybody was they weren't wearing their like finance bro vests. They were wearing like pre-finance bro outfits, like slacks and shirts, but their muscles were like bulging in them. And I was like, this is so funny. And then I was sitting on the train and I was like, and there were all these pretty women on the train, and like all of them were like super fashionable, so New York City, like brown and suede and fun bags and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, I wonder if people just look for love on the 6 train, where you're just like checking out good looking people and you're checking out yourself. And so I literally like sitting there watching all these people in their 20s commute to work. And I'm like, I wonder who's macking who on here. But this article is from Business Insider, and the net of it is that as workers have returned to office, they've brought their search for love with them. While hooking up with coworkers is often considered taboo, half of workers have engaged in an office romance, says a 2024 survey from the Society of Human Resource Management. Another 2024 survey found that nearly a third of workers between 18 and 44 have started an office romance since being required to come into the office at least once a week. Obviously, like I have a whole chapter in my book on this. I was just looking at this, like sex, drugs, and other disasters at work. I think it's called something like that. Getting drunk, drugs, other things at work. This happens all the time. I think companies are crazy if they think that people are not dating one another in the office. I actually think it's a great thing. I think companies, yes, it's awkward. Yes, it comes with a lot of career pitfalls. Yes, you got to be really careful if you're going to go there. And yes, it has unintended consequences. But I think if you're young and you're in the office and you're meeting people and you want to go out and you have a crush on somebody, like that's so natural, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And for all these people complaining about going back to work, like think about it as a place to go meet people. Like if you don't want to be on Tinder, or you don't want to be on Bumble, or you don't want to be on a dating app, or you don't want to be at some like dirty dive bar on a Friday night, try working at a big company where you get to meet people all day and you can see who sparks you and who you spark and what can go from there. I think dating people at work is a danger. And if you're going to get into something serious, or even if you're just going to sleep around with 100 people at the office, you just got to think through the outcome of that and the implication of it. But the office as a place to be interested in and enticed by other people, I think is totally normal and very natural. And honestly, that's a benefit of going to work. Do you think people date here?
That's a good question. I don't know. I don't think so. I haven't heard.
I'm going to give you a strong disagree on that.
Really?
Yes.
Have you heard something that I don't know?
I think that like each other.
I have kind of picked up on that too a little bit. I'm not going to lie.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I picked up on that.
Same. Okay.
Yeah.
Now work.
13 signs it's time to leave your job. All right. I am so tired of reading about job hugging, quiet quitting, There was a new one I saw the other day. It's all this like, if you hate your job, if you hate your boss, if you hate the place you work, if you hate the amount of money you make, if you hate the industry you work in, you hate the people you work with, hate the product your company ships out, then put your energy and motion not to being bitter and disgruntled and obstinate and difficult at work. Put your energy into finding yourself a new job. Maybe new jobs are tighter now. There are still jobs out there. There are going to be jobs in the future. It is such a demoralizing, frustrating, shitty way for you to feel, and also, side note, everyone else around you at work to feel, to just be disgruntled at work. So the signs that you should leave your job. One is you dread Mondays. So Monday rolls around and you're like, fuck, I got to go to work. I love Mondays. I love nothing more than a Monday. It's purpose, it's opportunity. Think of all the things you can get done. If you hate Mondays and you're just Sunday scarying all the way through the crash on Monday morning, that's a good sign it's time to leave your job. Second, you would warn a friend away from working there. I think this is actually a great one, which is if someone asked you, hey, would you work at your company? And you'd be like, I don't really know. I think it's a good sign that you really don't like it and you would not want to put someone you like or someone you love into that same environment. Really good sign that you should not be at this job. 3 is you can't be yourself at work. Everyone should be able to bring themselves to work, to be who they are at work. I am a big proponent of there's some of yourself that you should leave at home, and there's some of your coworkers that parts of themselves that they should leave at home. But being who you are, whatever color you may be, whatever personality you may have, whatever peccadillos you may have, being at a place where you can be yourself at work is really, really important. The next one is you're doing too much. I actually personally disagree with this one. I think if you want to make your way up the ladder, the more you can do, the better off you are. This to me is a little bit of mindset. But if you're feeling like, hey, I'm doing too much, I'm not getting rewarded for it, nobody's saying thank you, nobody appreciates what I do doesn't matter, then in that case, that's a good sign you should leave your job. The culture is toxic, which is really to say this place doesn't fuel you, it's draining. I actually want to switch some of the conversation on toxicity at work. I think when people talk about toxicity at work, it's like everybody else's fault. Like, this place is toxic. It's everybody else. And the reality is, like, everything happening right now, it's actually toxic to you. And an environment may be toxic to you, but not toxic to other people. It may be toxic to other people, but great for you. And toxicity is really the chemical balance, your chemical balance at work. And I wish people would think more about, like, is this place toxic for me? What does it mean to be toxic for me? Like, I think toxic is one of those words that gets thrown around where, like, the environment is relentless, like the energy is permeating. If you work at a place that's really nasty and is not having success and people are negative and it's not a happy culture, or it's not a productive team, and people don't want to work together, or the product stinks, or the job is boring, then, like, yeah, sure, it's just not a place that fuels you. So maybe that means it's toxic. But really what a more positive way to say this would be, like, your job isn't fulfilling to you. You don't feel fulfilled. You don't feel invigorated. You don't get more energy from having been at work every day. And I kind of wish that people would think about it that way. You're always drained, which is a symptom of toxic culture. So you leave work with less energy than you went into it. When you think about work, it makes you down. When you feel about work, it makes you feel low. Being always drained is a horrendous way to feel, whether it's a relationship that's making you feel that way, an environment that's making you feel that way, or a workplace. Next one up is when your values clash. So obviously, if you value certain things and your company values something else, then that is not a good place to work. It's a good sign that you should leave. Staying out of fear, I talked about that at the beginning, which is when you stay at a job, not because you love your job and not because you want to make it your own, or not because you want it to take you someplace new or take the place to someplace it's never been, everyone can tell. And I think staying out of fear and hating it but doing it anyways is something that's really hard to carry with you. And the reality is you can really only carry it too long before it really starts to show. And I think this is like I think it's just a really unfortunate place to be. Not trusting leadership, this happens all the time. This happens here, this happens everywhere. But if you don't trust the people you work for and you don't trust the direction they're going or their reasons for going there, then it's a good sign that you're not in the right place. And, what I would say is if you don't trust your leadership, I would ask yourself why. I would ask yourself what you're doing about it. I would ask, what are they doing about it? I would look for signals. Are people talking about it? Are people trying things? Are people initiating progress? Are they listening to people inside of the company? Are they trying to make something happen in the company? Companies are not perfect, and they're very challenging, and they are very complicated. And trust is something that's earned and ebbs and flows in companies as companies grow and change and evolve. And needing to have trust is so foundational and so fundamental to everything anyone in a healthy relationship does, and the same is true at work. No growth in sight, big proponent of this one, which is if there's no place for you to go, if there's nothing else to do, if there's no other rung to climb, if nothing scares you, then by all means you should leave your job. Your health is suffering, so if the place is making you feel sick, it is having an impact on your well-being, your physical well-being, your emotional well-being. It's time to go. And then the last one is just trust your gut when your gut says it's time. So I think a lot of people, I don't think you need 13 ways to know that it's time to leave your job. I think you just know one way, which is if your job is not fulfilling you, if it's not challenging you, if it's not stimulating you, if it is not making you feel possibility or progress, it's probably time to go. And a really good thing to do, which is instead of hanging on because you're afraid or because you don't know what else is out there, have the belief that if you're not doing this, you could be doing something better, and go get it.
Now work.
So the last topic for net is a Warren Buffett quote. So Warren Buffett says, "You will continue to suffer if you have an emotional reaction to everything that is said to you. True power is sitting back and observing things with logic. True power is restraint. If words control you, that means everyone else can control you. Breathe and allow things to pass." I could use this one every day of the week. So that's a long quote, but a very good quote. I think, in the spirit of responding, not reacting, it is very easy to let other people's words impact you. It is very easy to let your day get dictated by somebody else's email that lands in your inbox, or a Slack that lands into your, click, 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 that lands into your world. I think this is a really important quote. It's a very mature quote, which is not having an emotional reaction is something you can control. I think it's so hard to control. It is so easy to get so mad, so upset, so afraid, so angry, so sad. So, it's easy to and the highs of it, it's easy to have a crazy outsized big reaction. But learning how to moderate that and learning how to measure that and learning how to manage yourself in, hey, this really, 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 really pissed me off. I'm going to put it away, or I'm going to write that draft email and respond to it with 4 million fuck yous and then just leave it there. You got to find the coping mechanism so that other people's agendas, other people's actions, other people's information does not elicit an emotional response in you, but it elicits a practical, or it doesn't elicit an emotional reaction in you, but it elicits a logical response. So I think this is a great metered way to think about. Sometimes I use the word dispassionate. I'm a deeply passionate person, which is a problem at times, which is why I could use a quote like this. But sometimes being dispassionate and being calm and even can have an incredible opportunity, because then you can ingest the essence of what's being said. You can intellectualize what's fact and what's opinion, and you can respond to it in a way that is positive and constructive versus just reactionary. I think the whole world could use this quote right now, to be honest.
Now work.
All right, that's it for NetNet. Thank you for listening to Work. You can find us wherever you find podcasts. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok. You can find us on LinkedIn. You can find Work Like a Girl in the Slack, just hiving out on the Slack. And you can find us on Substack, writing, posting, vlogging, blogging, videoing, the whole works. So thank you for listening, and we'll see you soon.